The snow began last night about 7 o'clock there. It shifted to sleet about noon today, making a new challenge for plows. We're trying to keep the roads safe for drivers.
WSLS 10's Rob Manch has been in Covington tracking the conditions for us there. So, Rob, how are folks dealing with this mess?
Well, Lindsay, it looks like at this point the precipitation has finally stopped here in Covington. It let up around 3 p.m. today, and really most people have dealt with it, like you said, by staying off the roads and heeding that VDOT recommendation. So we haven't seen many people out today, and we didn't hear of any crashes here in the Covington area, which is pretty good. But some people who did decide to weather the storm were the staff here at SJ Neathawk Lumber Company, where we talked to manager Aaron Lane. He tells me he drives all the way from West Virginia 40 miles each day to work, and he commends VDOT workers for keeping the roads clear enough for him to make it in despite the consistent snowfall that we saw all the way from 7 p.m. last night. Now, this store sells things like shovels, ice melt, and wood stoves that people really rely on in a winter storm like this, and being one of the only stores open, Lane says the weather means business for him.
Last storm a couple weeks ago was 200 snow shovels, all my ice melt. Of course, I have got new ice melt back in, so hopefully I got enough to get through this storm.
Now, Lane's had his staff out clearing the parking lot here today with shovels, and they even helped customers by clearing snow off of cars. But as I said before, the only reason that Lane and his staff were able to get into the store today was because those plow drivers were so diligent about coming along these roads and making sure they were cleared throughout the snowstorm. So I decided to jump in and take a ride with one of those plow drivers, and we'll be hearing from him coming up on your WSLS News at 6.
Rob, why don't you give us a little preview of that? I know that the snow is quote-unquote over before this whole rain thing that Jeff was talking about starts, but what would you say the final total looks like in Covington? How are the roads?
Well, yeah, John, I mean, we ended up kind of on the lower end of that total. We're looking at about probably 6, maybe 5.5, 6 inches here in Covington. But the real problem for the plow drivers now is that packed down snow on those roads that haven't been plowed yet. That snow that people drive over makes it treacherous to drive on those roads. So there's still a lot of work to be done for drivers. And that ice that came down a little earlier made that snow kind of ice covered, which is going to be difficult for plow drivers as well. So a lot of work still to be done, and VDOT drivers will be out throughout the rest of the night. In Covington, Rob Manch, WSLS 10.